Supposed to be a serious test against North Carolina, wound up being a serious rout. The Orange scored the game's first 4 goals and led 13-3 by halftime, and the fabulous Gate brothers had much to do with it, especially Gary Gate, the Michael Jordan of lacrosse. He had 5 goals and 1 assist, leading the Orange to a 21-10 rout of North Carolina for their 26th consecutive win and a spot in the national championship game. Roy Simmons Jr. in his 20th year as head lacrosse coach at Syracuse is now 1 win away from an unprecedented 4th national crown, and he was determined to keep his team focused. The other semifinal was a war between Yale and Loyola. The Greyhounds trailed by 3 in the closing moments, but rallied back. Jim Blanding's goal with 26 seconds left in regulation tied the game at 13, capping a furious 3-goal charge in the final 2 minutes. And in the second sudden death, it was sudden victory for Loyola on Chris Colbeck's dramatic game winner. Today, they'll be aiming for one of the great all-time upsets when they take on Syracuse in the 1990 National Championship game at Rutgers Stadium. Championship game of the 1990 Men's Division I Lacrosse Tournament. From Rutgers Stadium in Piscataway, New Jersey, it's the Greyhounds of Loyola College challenging the defending champion Syracuse University Orangemen. It is a gorgeous afternoon here in New Jersey, a perfect setting for what appears to be a David and Goliath matchup in this 1990 National Championship contest. Syracuse clearly Goliath, one of the best lacrosse teams ever assembled. Today, their sights set on a 3rd straight national championship, and emotions running high. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Eric Reed. Welcome to ESPN's coverage of this 1990 men's lacrosse final. I'm working today's title game with Leif Elsmo, and Leif, Loyola certainly has their work cut out for them. They play the role of David, and they have been the spoiler and the surprise team in this NCAA tournament.
Well, they really have. They come in as the Buster Douglas of the lacrosse world because they don't really get the respect they deserve. But beating a good Yale team, a team that was ranked 2 nationally, gave them a lot of respect, and that's why they're here. They outcoached and outplayed Yale into overtime, and they're going against a great Syracuse team being led by Brian Kronberger. He's an All-America at the midfield position. He scores a lot of goals, but maybe more importantly, Kronberger leads them spiritually. This is footage taken moments ago as they warm up for today's game. Kronberger not backing down 1 inch, going right up against Pat McCabe, and that is the kind of spiritual leadership that Brian Kronberger gives to this Loyola squad, a squad that has not been in a game of this stature ever in its history.
Well, Kronberger had 5 goals in that semifinal double overtime win against Yale. Now, the Orange, they've been nearly impossible to beat. They come into this game with 26 consecutive victories, a very special group led by 2 very special players, and that group closes out their career today.
Well, it's going to be showtime for Syracuse. This is a group that you only see once, maybe every 30 years. It's a very special group, as you mentioned. They score from about 5 or 6 different critical areas and different players. They're loaded, they're explosive. It all starts with the Gate brothers, though. Gary Gate, maybe the best to ever play the position of midfield. He'll start things off in the midfield. His twin brother Paul plays right on the same midfield. So how do you defend Gary and Paul Gate? It's very, very difficult. That'll be one of the orders for Loyola today.
Now, calling Loyola an underdog is an understatement, but yet their style of play says they may have a chance to win this.
That's what they're hoping on. This is the kind of team that gives Syracuse problems. 2 years ago in the semifinals, Penn, with the same kind of team, zone defense, slow down tempo, took them to the limit. 11-10 victory for Syracuse, but very close. Last year, Hopkins in the finals, 13-12 victory for Syracuse, but Hopkins controlled the tempo and almost won the game. So that's the hope of Loyola. They've got to take the air out of the ball and play almost perfectly.
It's a perfect day for the 1990 National Championship lacrosse game. We'll have your starting lineups in today's opening face-off from Rutgers Stadium in Piscataway, New Jersey, right after this.
This ESPN program is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. Remember, know when to say when.
Welcome back to Rutgers Stadium under blue skies and bright sunshine. It's 12-0 Syracuse against 11-2 Loyola for the 1990 NCAA Lacrosse Championship. Let's meet the starting lineups for today's ball game. First for the Orange of Syracuse, Jim Egan and Greg Burns, both seniors, with a sophomore Tom Marachek at attack, an all-senior first midfield. Rodney Dumpson and the first-team All-American Gate brothers, Paul and Gary. On the defense for the Orange, the All-American Pat McCabe alongside John Winship and Eric Holbrook, the senior goaltender Matt Palem. He has never lost in an NCAA playoff game. For the Greyhounds of Loyola, they'll go with the attack unit of Chris Colbeck, Jim Blanding, and 6'4" Kevin Beach. The face-off midfield group, Bob Curry, Tony Pavlik, and Gary Beach. And on the defense for the Greyhounds, it'll be Tom Johnson, Scott Oslislo, and Sean Quinn. They're led by a senior goaltender, 5'8" Charlie Toomey.
A lot of pressure on Charlie Toomey, and I think in the other end of the field, Palin might be the best goalie in college cross today. Let's take a look at the keys to today's game, what these teams will have to do to win. Syracuse, all they have to do is win about 50% of their faceoffs, keep Loyola from controlling the tempo and possession. They need to get an early lead against the zone defense. You don't want that zone defense packing in tighter, force them to play man-to-man, and they have to be able to recognize the multitude of zone defenses that Loyola is going to throw at them. For Loyola, they've really got a job. They have to play almost perfectly. They need to win at least 2 out of every 3 faceoff on average, so about 66% of the faceoffs to get possession and control the ball. They need to control the tempo once they get it, slow it down, keep it out of the sticks of the great offense of Syracuse. And then Syracuse, with their gambling style, will give them opportunities. They have to turn those Syracuse gambles into goals, not just possession, but into goals. And that would be the key for Loyola's success.
Here's the series history. 4th meeting between these two clubs. The first since 1984. Orange have won the 3 prior meetings, and Syracuse holding Loyola to 7 or less goals in each of those games.
And Eric, you can throw that away because this is a brand new Loyola dynasty. They have built a program, raised it several notches over the last couple years.
2 best records in the sport over the last 3 years, and our national championship game is underway with Tony Pavlik for Loyola and Kurt Pratt for Syracuse in the faceoff circle.
And you'll notice that Loyola uses a long sticks defender on the faceoff. They are defensive minded. Syracuse uses the Gate brothers. They think offense. The ball goes, knocked out of bounds by the long sticks, goes to Syracuse.
By the way, our officiating crew, the referee Walter Munsey, the umpires Al Sattler and Tom Young. Orange go to work offensively first in this game.
And you expect to see a zone here. Let's see what Loyola does. Cotto wants to confuse them. He may be starting a little bit of a matchup man-to-man. No, they're in the zone.
This is Tommy Marichuk, the sophomore from Victoria, British Columbia. 3 Canadians on this Syracuse offensive group.
That's exactly what the zone wants you to do. Try to pass it through the lane, and the sticks knock it down. Chuck that one up to Loyola. Loyola played the zone, baited Syracuse to make the pass that looks open, but it is not really open. Syracuse took the bait. Loyola knocks it down and gets possession.
Paul Gate with a rare mistake. Crowd of about 25,000 packed in the Rutgers Stadium.
And Eric, the mistakes that I talked about that will turn into goals are going to happen down here. This Syracuse defense will gamble. Palin, as great as he is, will gamble. He'll come out of the goal. Loyola's got to jump on that and convert it into goals for Loyola.
This is Ted Nichols. He assisted on the game-winning goal against Yale. Actually, he scored one of the goals in the 4th quarter that brought Loyola back in that game. Greyhounds scored 3 in the final 2:06 of the 4th quarter to send Yale in overtime. This is Jim Blanding. He had the goal with 26 seconds left in the 4th period to tie the game.
And there's a matchup. He's got Eric Holbrook against him, so...
Whoa! Front near miss for Brian Kronberger. And Kronberger had 5 goals and 16 shot opportunities against Yale in the semifinals. Royce Simmons looking on from the Syracuse sideline.
Well, this is the patented, the patient offense for Loyola, and here's what they do. They work it around, get a good hard cut. Here's Kronberger, and Kronberger has really been the offense for Loyola. He consistently gets open, even though you think he's covered. That's why he's All-America.
On the shot, a score, Chris Colbeck, who scored the game winner in the 2nd overtime against Yale, scores the 1st goal of this national championship game.
Well, it's a shocker to this great Syracuse team, I'm sure. They come in, no matter what they think, they are overconfident. They try to fight it, but I'm sure they think they're going to blow Loyola out. No way. Here comes Colbeck, comes crashing down, beating the defense of McCabe, and takes a shot from the feeder. They're putting McCabe on Colbeck, so Colbeck rolled up top. Very smart move by Loyola. They had him off the ball, and then he came crashing down, just outrunning McCabe to get the feed. Smart play, 1-0 Loyola.
2 minutes, 50 seconds into the 1st quarter. Loyola has the lead. Only 1 team all season long scored first against Syracuse. That was North Carolina in the season opener for the Orangemen. At Palin getting the loose ball off the faceoff. By the way, the assist on that opening goal to Jim Blanding, his 27th assist this year.
2 for 2 face-off wise for Syracuse. They've got the possessions, but they had a pretty poor offensive showing last time. Let's see how they attack the zone this time. Their 2nd shot.
This is Jim Egan with it, senior out of Yorktown Heights, New York. Has 4 goals thus far in this NCAA tournament. He's working against a good defensive midi in Bob Curry.
See how the zone is packed right in there. They're not going to go way outside, playing Egan tough.
Egan coughs it up. Good defense by Curry. Marichuk trying to stick the loose ball. It's free. Fanning on the shot. And scoring. Syracuse gets the game tire from Paul Gate. Loose ball out in front. Paul Gate puts it in the net.
Loyola did a beautiful job of keeping the offense at bay, not giving them a good shot. They got the ball down. They hit a passing lane. Syracuse tried to bully it in. Loyola got the ball on the ground, but then couldn't get possession. And the ball was being pushed around the field. Here's Dumpson. Tries to get a shot off, check from behind. The ball will be pushed to the left, and then picked up right there by Gate. No, not yet. Here he'll get it on the backside, wheel around, and put it past Toomey, who was out trying to knock down Paul Gate. Not very easy to do against a 6'2", 210-pound player. Watch this. He gets the great stick work, up and around, beating Toomey. Didn't get the ground ball. Defense has been perfect. They missed the ground ball, cost him a goal.
Paul Gate MVP in last year's national championship game. He had 4 goals, 2 assists with a 1-goal victory against Hopkins. Orange again win the faceoff. Tied at 1 early moments, first quarter.
And uncharacteristically, they couldn't make that transition goal.
There's the shot going wide by Greg Burns, stopped by Toomey. And Loyola looking to break out.
Eric, that shows me that Loyola really has them thinking. This defense has them thinking too much. They missed that transition. Normally, that's 2 passes and a goal. They couldn't even handle it.
Pass intended for Kronberger. He shot in front of the Syracuse cage.
We talk about matchups again. This control kind of team, a team like Loyola. And look at this. You think these teams aren't ready to play? Holy smokes. Loyola's coming in here, not backing down an inch, trying to prove something, at least emotionally, to the great Syracuse team. I'm sure there's a lot of talk down there. Syracuse feeling their oats, and Loyola not backing down.
A wild scene over on the far sideline between the Orange and the Greyhounds. We saw something like this in pregame warm-ups.
I'm going to try to tell you who's in the middle of that down there. Egan was in the middle of it in the pregame warm-ups. Egan was in the middle of this. And it's no, I can't see if it's Kronberg or not. No, it's not. He's not in the middle of that one.
Johnson for
I'll tell you what,
they're starting defenseman.
I can tell you I can guarantee you the Cottle went over to Kronberg and told him before the game and said, don't get thrown out of the game, buddy. We need you in the game. This is what started it all. Play on the sideline. Look, Loyola wrestles the Syracuse player down, and then for protection, McCabe comes up and levels him, and here comes the Loyola bench to defend their team. This team not getting the respect they really think they deserve, Eric, and that's why their emotions are sky high. They want to prove to the world that they belong in this final game. There's Dave Cottle.
Done an amazing job in his 8th year at Loyola. Just 34 years of age. His record over the last 3 years, 33-5, and just 7 seniors on this Loyola club.
Well, here's your little meeting now. The officials are going to find out. This could be critical. If you throw a player out of the game, or if there's a major penalty, there could be a major penalty involved here. You certainly wouldn't want to lose a player. And Egan was over there now twice. Of course, the pregame doesn't really count as we look at Roy Simmons Jr. Egan was over there really mixing it up. So it would really be devastating for either team to lose a player because of one of these little fights.
You know, Dave Cottle and Roy Simmons trying to simmer things down. You know, Roy said earlier this week, we are definitely the Goliath of this tournament. I just hope we don't run into any slingshots. Well, they've run into some early slingshots here from the Loyola Greyhounds. We're tied at 1, 11:31 left in the first quarter. This could be a memorable national championship game.
Well, they just haven't played that well against teams that take the air out of the ball, that slow it down, and have a great zone defense. It frustrates them. It puts the bridle on them. It rates them. It holds them back, and they just don't like to do it. They like to run and gun, and when you think about things like the zone, it ends up taking you out of your game. Still talking it over.
And Kevin Beach of Loyola, each 3 minutes, each unreleasable.
And Egan's the guy who really has been mixing it up since the pregame warm-ups. So a good time for him to cool down. It'll be 5-on-5 in the offensive end of the field.
Here's Jim Blanding working one-on-one for the Greyhounds. Shoots it just wide. Loyola will keep it. But how will 5-on-5 affect their zone defense on the other end, Leif?
It's going to open it up, obviously, a little bit, create some more lanes, and it may make it easier for Syracuse to get some of those great shots off on Toomey. Yeah, I think it'll cause them some problems.
This is Ted Nichols. He's working against Rob Persing for Syracuse. Nichols, a 4-year starter at Loyola. Greyhounds definitely looking to take some air out of the ball when they have it, valuing each possession. Kronberger came in on goal, may have hit the pipe with that shot.
Sensational play by Kronberger, but the ball goes up. He did hit the pipe, but boy, can he beat anybody at will. He has really proven his mettle as a first-team All-America right here. Potential first-team All-America.
Kronberg, 2-time All-American pick, honorable mention and second team last year. Controlling is Gate. This is Greg Burns. Over to Tom Marachek.
And they just made a substitution on the fly to get that full first unit in. Here comes Paul and Dumpson.
Rodney Dumpson into the box.
Double team, get rid of it.
Gate scores!
Didn't seem to matter, Eric. He came around against the double team. He had men open in front because they double teamed him on the wing, but he is so strong that Gary just took it on his own shoulders, came in there and blasted a goal past Toomey.
Gary Gates' 11th goal of this NCAA tournament.
Let's take a look at it. Now watch when Gary gets it. He gets double teamed. 2 guys going out on him. That creates a lot of space. You see Marachek wide open. There's a player wide open up top. But Gary takes it against 3 now, and just with that high velocity shot, beats Charlie Toomey. 2-1 lead. A lot of players on the Syracuse team feel like they can take things in their own hands. As we look at it again, there's the hard shot by Gary. He puts it in. A lot of guys, including Marachek, Paul and Gary Gate, Phil Egan is one. They can do it on their own. Gary did it then.
In this playoff tournament, Gary Gate has had 5 goals in each of Syracuse's 2 wins against Brown and against North Carolina. Minute 44 left in the 2 penalties. 10 minutes left in the first quarter. Orange lead Loyola 2-1. Touch pass to Paul Gate, couldn't be handled. Loyola takes over.
Eric, faceoffs were critical for Loyola. They need to get possession. Against Yale, they won 2 out of 3 faceoffs. But the technique in facing off on Yale was very poor. A great John Reese, a good power face-off man, but not good at technique-wise. Here, Syracuse, with an excellent face-off strategy, has won all 4 face-offs.
This is Bob Curry, has great speed as he comes up the sideline, a sophomore from Freeport, New York.
Okay.
Still 5-on-5 down here. They're getting good shots, Loyola is. Don't forget, you got Matt Paleb in the goal, and I give him my vote for first-team All-America. I think he is unquestionably the best in the country, although he doesn't get credit because of the great team in front of him.
Paleb, a senior, out of DeWitt, New York, former option quarterback in his high school days. Very unorthodox player. He'll take some chances.
He's great between the pipes, and he has to make bigger saves because of the gambling style of defense.
Kronberger, nice feed. Here's Sean Smith and a nice save. Point-blank range. Palem stopped it.
That's what I'm talking about. This kid does it all. His defense gambles, and it gives him a lot of shots within 4 yards of him, right in his face. But Palem, more often than not, comes up with a big save. Chalk that one up to the great save of Palem.
Nice cross-field pass. Here's Gary Gate. Nice move, and he scores. Gary Gate on a pretty feed from David Patain. 3-1 Syracuse.
It all starts with transition. When you get this racehorse team running, there's hardly any team in the country that can put up with the offensive members of this team. And how do you match up? Well, you just don't. There's Charlie Toomey. He has not seen the velocity of shots like he's seeing from Gary Gate and the whole Syracuse team. It all started, though, with the great save by Palem. We'll show that in a moment. Here it goes. This is where it started. Palem has to come out. The defense gambled. They lost. Here's one of those gambles, Eric, I talked about, where Loyola has to score. They didn't score. The ball was saved by Palem. Right down the field they go. Gary Gate picks it up on that explosive left-handed shot, almost in the same area as the last one. He gets 2 goals in a row.
That was a very effective clear by Syracuse. First it was Persing advancing to Dave Patain, and it was Patain who had his first career goal in the semifinal against North Carolina that gave Gary Gate a feed right in stride. Still 31 seconds left in the twin penalties, so it's been 5-on-5 lacrosse on the offensive end.
There he is, the best midfielder in the country, and many feel maybe the best to ever play the game. And I tell you, it certainly doesn't hurt when you've got a guy of equal ability playing on your same unit, and he does in Paul. Last year they focused on Gary. Paul was the MVP.
Eric Pratt and Tony Pavlik again battling for the faceoff.
And they haven't lost one yet.
Maricek with a nice catch of the bounce pass. Stuffed on his shot, but still controls.
I'm not sure he even shot. The Canadian stick skills, Eric, let you shoot, pull the ball back without any letting it be released from your stick. But he had plenty of defense against him. Now they're switching on the fly, settling it down, getting some fresh players in. Dumpson comes in. They get that whole first unit in. Gate, and Dumpson.
Rodney Dumpson, very underrated. His coach feels he'd be an All-American on another club. This is Gary Gate. He wears number 22.
And Egan's back on the field, so the penalty is over. Egan just came back in. He sets up behind.
On the move, Egan, the Maricek whipped it just wide.
I think he hit right off the face mask of Toomey. Nice save by Charlie Toomey. He looked it right in the teeth. Maricek with a stick low, shot high, and Charlie Toomey looked right at it and bounced off his face mask.
You see the numbers on Toomey. He led the nation in save percentage last year, and that did hit right off his face mask. Good call, Leaf. 8 minutes left, first quarter. 3-1, Syracuse out in front. This is Dumpson. He whipped it over the cage.
You know, you talk about the underrated player of some of these guys. Rodney Dumpson right there. He could be possibly All-America and on other teams, but he's shadowed by the Gate brothers. You saw that sensational shot right there. Tremendous velocity. He's about 6'2", 190, a tremendous athlete.
Out of Nassau Community College, Dumpson been a big-time player for them. He's got 3 goals in NCAA championship play, 2 coming in the fourth quarter last year in the 1-goal win against Johns Hopkins. Nice view from the end zone. The wind-up and shot goes wide for Syracuse. They control the ball with 7:34. Paul Gate looking to answer his brother's total with 3 goals. All scored by the Gate brothers. 2 for Gary, 1 for Paul.
Eric, that shot was the shot that Loyola and Dave Cotto want to give to Syracuse. Go ahead, shoot it from right there, and they have to count on Toomey making the save. They're packing in the zone, giving him the outside shot. They don't want the shots that are about halfway in from there. That's where they've been scoring on their 3 goals. Keep them out. The philosophy of the zone.
Egan's on the top. Maricek goes behind his back. The Burns behind. New turnover there. Toomey takes it away.
Nice check by Sean Quinn. They got a little fancy down there. Sean Quinn made a nice check to get it back to Loyola.
Well, Dave Cotto, the Loyola coach, said we must value every possession. Here's another one for them with just under 7 minutes left in the first quarter. Orange fell behind 1-0. They lead it now 3-1.
And you don't want to slip behind maybe 2 more goals. Stay within 3 of Syracuse, or else your whole philosophy goes down to 2.
Kronberger on the drive, and another stop by Palem.
Tell you what, again, I'm going to talk about it all game, but Palem's made a believer out of me. I think the guy's first-team All-American. He's not going to get it because of the team in front of him. He just won't get it. They don't give him enough respect, but he's done it all. Watch this. Save comes in. He looks it right in, makes a beautiful save. Palem, very quickly, MVP of this championship series 2 years ago. Last year, single-handedly saved the game for his team with 3 dramatic saves in the last 2 minutes. What more does he need to do? He's undefeated in postseason play. Every save he makes is dramatic because of the defensive pressure his unit puts on. I think he's sensational.
39-2 as a starting goalie. This is his 3rd start in the national championship game. And you're right, never lost an NCAA tournament game. 8-0 for Palem in the cage. Well, the Orange have dominated time of possession in this quarter. They blew North Carolina out in the semifinals. 21-10, jumped on them quickly. 6-1 after 1 quarter.
Well, what happened there was the game face-off was at noon, but North Carolina really didn't show up to about 1 o'clock, and by then they were down 8-0. You can't do that against Syracuse.
Now Maricek working one-on-one, but shot it high and wide. Orange will keep possession with 5:53 left. First quarter on a gorgeous afternoon here in New Jersey. There's a look at the numbers posted by the senior Matt Palem.
Look at that, 68 for saves, and you see the saves he makes. With a gambling defense, he's got to make them within 5 yards of him every time. Every save is dramatic because of that gambling style. He's a sensational athlete.
Second midfield group on the field for Syracuse. Cahey, Kramer, and Joe Bonacci.
Here's the problem with the zone. You're down by 2. There's no pressure on Syracuse to really push it in there, and there's no pressure from the defense to get the ball back.
This is Dan Cahey, big, powerful midfielder from Homer, New York.
Problem is with the offense of Syracuse, you just can't take the air out of this offense. They want to go to the hoop. Defense again, Eric, showing you what you don't have. They'll try to block down the passing lanes, but if they try to pass through the zone, that's when Loyola will try to block the ball down and regain possession.
Maricek flipping it up top. The shot whistling wide by sophomore Ricky Kramer.
Not a bad shot. You go wide. You go for the pipe. You hit the pipe. You get a nice little goal. If you miss it wide, you remain in possession because you're backed up by your offense. That zone stays tight, does not back up, does not contest that ball out of bounds.
Orangemen with a 9-6 shot advantage. They lead it 3-1 here in the first period.
In this game, a lot more emotional than we may have guessed, Eric. Both of these teams really fighting at each other in the first quarter.
A feisty start to this 1990 National Championship game. Perfect weather conditions after monsoon-like conditions in the semifinals. Just a nasty day.
As we see Syracuse move the offense, let's think a little bit about Loyola, what they have to do to score. I wouldn't be surprised to see
Marechek's shot deflected off the stick of Tony Pavlik, goes out of bounds and goes to Loyola with 4:25 left. First quarter, we step aside with a score of our 1990 National Championship game. The Orange 3, Loyola 1. Syracuse, first quarter action.
I was starting to talk about what Loyola has to do to score. Kronberg's getting open for some shots. They will fall if he keeps getting open with the hard cuts. I think they've got to try some things with Beach. He's impossible to take the ball away from him. Get him the ball and let him see if he can set up some offense, because it's hard to take the ball away from Kevin Beach at 6'4", 220.
Beach is on the field despite a knee injury.
The team played by John Winship. That's a good matchup, strength against strength.
This is Chris Kolbeck.
The problem is he's not very mobile. It's tough to get him the ball. Here they go. Let's see if they set that up.
Kevin Beach had 2 goals, 2 assists against Yale. Big second half. 2 of the goals and 1 of the assists coming in the second half of play in the semifinals.
He's just so big and strong. He protects the stick, and it's impossible to take it away from him. That's why you won't see McCabe on Beach, because McCabe would go crazy. He'd be crawling over him trying to get the ball, would put himself in a bad position, possibly foul. McCabe doesn't like to play just defense. He likes to strip the ball. He feels he hasn't been successful unless he takes it away from you. Good rotation now. They're rotating from the crease, keeping the ball in the midfield, which is a little bit of a gamble, because if Syracuse gets it, they're a fast break from there. But this is a gamble by Cottle. Good motion, but he's putting the ball in the midfield, and if Syracuse gets it, trouble.
Nichols flipping it into the box. Once you come out of that box area, you have 10 seconds in which to return, or it's a violation. Orange applying the defensive pressure. We get a whistle. A push on Syracuse. Possession remains with the Greyhounds of Loyola. 2:51 left in the first quarter. 3-1 Syracuse.
And emotions have calmed down a little bit. Now it's down to just the mechanics of the game. And that's what this team, the Loyola squad, really has to bank on, that their mechanics are perfect and they can get that ball past the great Palem in the goal just by doing everything perfectly on the offensive end.
This is Paul Cantabine, a freshman from Rochester, New York. He's had a good year for Loyola. Out front, open shot and a score for Chris Kolbeck. Kolbeck, second goal of the game. 3-2 Syracuse.
Sensational job of cutting off the crease. What they're doing is they're picking off the good aggressive defense of Syracuse. They get the ball behind. It's an old, very familiar style. It's textbook lacrosse. Here the feed comes right out front. Now Kolbeck had already lost his defender by coming across the crease where they're setting up a double pick. And they've had that shot all game long. Palem has made several good saves from there, but they're going to get goals if the defense doesn't start picking up and backing up on those picks. They're picking off the defense. Kolbeck gets the score, 3-2.
Same combination clicking twice for the Greyhounds. Chris Kolbeck scoring off the Jim Blanding assist. And interesting, Blanding from Syracuse, New York, went to West Genesee High School.
This kind of turf is much better for him than it was against the Loyola in the semis, where it was wet. These quick, smaller players on Loyola will benefit from this great weather here for the final.
Face-off violation against Loyola. Syracuse will get possession. This is just what the Greyhounds figured they had to do, stay close in the first period.
Well, and you look at Syracuse, who has absolutely won every face-off, and they're only leading by 1. They have won all 6 face-offs. You've really got to give Loyola credit. They've made their possessions count.
It's a Syracuse team with 9 games over 20 goals. Matter of fact, they average over 20 goals a game this year. Have played very few close games.
Yale did a nice job of dissecting the zone. Syracuse, again, sort of irritates them to have to even do it, so they're not as patient as a Yale would be.
Gary Gate, Paul Gate, Rodney Dumpson on that midfield line. Here's Egan on the feed to Marechek. Nice pass to Gate. He shot it just wide. Oh, very nice pass for Tommy Marechek right to the crease where Gary Gate was waiting.
And the problem was that Gate positioned himself about a foot too far deep behind the plane of the goal. We see Cottle there working at it. Watch how Gate, when we see the shot, is too far behind the pipe to even get it there. He's back a little too far. When he shoots, he didn't even have enough angle to put it in. He had angle to catch the pass, but look how far back he is. not enough angle to get it in front of the plane of the goal.
Under 2 minutes left, first quarter. Syracuse leading 3-2. 1990 national championship game.
Right now, Loyola has Syracuse thinking, and they're out of their normal mode of thinking. They're thinking of ways to beat the zone. Hard shot there, but they're really a little bit confused. They think they have something, but then they say, wait a minute, do I or don't I? Is the zone there? Is it? They're thinking, you know, it's all an illusion. Definitely having problem right now, Syracuse is. Watch this stop right here as the shot comes in from hard out front. Just wide left a little bit after the stick hits it from Toomey.
Dumpson sending it for Paul Gate. Off his stick, out of bounds. Possession to the Greyhounds.
Well, this is the kind of team, again, we've said it, we'll say it all game, as long as they control the tempo, that frustrates Syracuse and has the best success against this team. Here's Roy Simmons Jr. They've got to learn to beat that zone or else it's going to be a long day.
Well, Roy Simmons Jr. succeeding his father, who coached for 40 years, and Roy Simmons Sr., 90 years of age. He's in attendance this afternoon. Dave Cottle, he compared this to the Georgetown-Villanova 1985 National Basketball Championship. He said, we've got to play that type of game.
Now, Cottle has an excellent coaching staff. I think maybe the best coaching staff here. Not coach, but coaching staff. He's got 5 or 6 assistants, 4 or 5. Very, very good, experienced, and many times All-America coaching staff behind him.
First Colbeck with a missed shot, but a slash on Syracuse, so Loyola will have the first man advantage this afternoon.
There's another one of those critical areas, Eric, where they've got to make it pay off. They scored about 50% of their times against Yale. When a team like Loyola gets an extra man, they've got to get at least 50% in a game like this. They need this goal, and it would tie this game up and really, really hurt the psyche of the great Stallion team, the great team with all the offense from Syracuse.
The foul was on Pat McCabe, a slash. So Syracuse down a man for 1 minute. 45 seconds left, first quarter. So you were talking about that Loyola staff. The top assistant, Bill Durgel, who was a great face-off man and a captain of the 1988 Syracuse National Championship team.
He was sensational, and he's coaching specifically on those face-offs as well as really backing up and being the chief assistant.
Shot by Cronenberger, kicked out by Palin.
Cronenberger keeps getting open for that right-handed shot. He is getting the shots, and of course, extra man there. That's when you want to put him in.
You can down on the penalty and in the first quarter.
Eric, you can tell the Syracuse just is really getting out of their game. This is what happens with those zone defenses. If they don't get their shots, they don't get fluid on the transition, they start not playing that well. And this is really, first quarter has fallen into the hands of Loyola. They control the tempo. "13 seconds, it'll be tough to get a shot off.
Man down, here comes Paul Gate, cross midfield. Marichuk couldn't handle, but backing up right there is Greg Burns. And that's it. First quarter is over. Gary Gate with 2 goals, Paul Gate with 1, but Chris Colbeck of the Loyola Greyhounds, 2 first quarter goals, surprisingly close through 1 quarter of the 19th.
Big save.
Big check there by Gate. We get a penalty marker down. This will go against Gary Gate of Syracuse.
Tough call. It looked like a good hit from here. He just came out and leveled him. He may have been from behind. It'll be a 1-minute high check they're calling. Or he came up. If you come up in the face area, anywhere above the shoulders, that's the penalty. And Gate has a good hit. Let's see how high he comes up. Watch. Boom. Yeah. Comes up above, right into the head. That's definitely a penalty for a minute. Would have been a good hit had he kept his arms down and just used body against body.
Gary Gate at 6'2", about 200 pounds, just steamrolled a 5'11" sophomore, Bobby Curry. They're calling it an illegal check. Gate will sit for a minute. Second man-up opportunity for Loyola. They look to tie it up here in the early moments of the second quarter.
Second in a row, Eric. They ended the first quarter with a man-up situation. Syracuse got by that, and here they are again.
Kevin Beach working behind. This is Colbeck. Colbeck, number 14, has both Loyola's goals.
Starting in a 1-3-2, counting from behind. Now watch, they should go into some sort of rotation. Try to get the defense out of their seam, out of their zone. 6 players on 5.
This is Beach looking for the opportunity. He finds it and ties the game at 3.
Good shot for Beach. He came around with some motion on the far side, looked for help. It was Holbrook that had a chance to slide in and really make the play. Nobody picked up Beach. Watch, he's looking to make the feed. That freezes the defense. Holbrook could have slid here. He slid too late. And a hard shot beats Palem over the shoulder. How about this Greyhound squad? 3-3. They haven't controlled the ball that much. We'll watch Beach one more time. Big guy, 6'4", comes in and just hammers that shot right past Palem.
21st goal this year for the sophomore Kevin Beach, his 5th goal here in the playoffs.
Once he beats that one man in the extra, you really shouldn't get a second shot. The slide should have come a little earlier and decked him. They were reluctant to slide. He had the shot and took it. Loyola not with very many possessions. The last faceoff was the first one they've gotten this game. They're 1 for 7.
That was an extra man goal. And again, Kurt Pratt, this time beating Steve Vakeness. But Vakeness getting a stick on it. And here come the Gate brothers.
Transition.
Now Maricek out in front. Egan scores. Just that quickly, the Orange attack and take the lead again.
Well, that's textbook fast break, and that's the danger of the Syracuse squad. They move the ball, make 3 passes. Maricek got it on the right wing. Toomey has to guard against him. It'll come down low to Maricek. He looks over, sees Egan right in front. The defense has to guard Maricek. Egan's parked right in front. The ball comes to Egan, and he dumps it in. 4-3 for Syracuse.
Jimmy Egan unties the game. 4-3. We'll be right back here for second quarter action. With 7:26 left, second quarter, the Orangemen of Syracuse have taken a 6-4 lead over Loyola, Lee Felsmo, and now they'll work with a man advantage after the Tom Johnson slashing penalty.
First chance, I believe. Tom Johnson slashed on a beautiful fast break by Syracuse. They've swapped goals a little bit here. A 2-goal lead for Syracuse. First extra man opportunity, and they really need to poke it home here. Loyola 1 for 2 in their 2 chances in the extra man arena. Syracuse with a chance, 6 against 5 to go up by 3 goals.
And their first chance to work with the extra man. Here's Egan out in front. Nice behind the back pass. Paul Gate to brother Gary.
I can't tell you how sensational that is. That is unbelievable. Paul Gate out front. Wraps that stick around his back to hit Gary, pinpoint accuracy, and Gary against a stunned Charlie Toomey. Watch this, comes out to Paul, defense sliding madly, wraps it around his head, Gary wide open, Toomey still trying to follow the action, Gary just dumps it home. Guess what, folks? Halfway through the game, not even that, he's got 4 goals. Here it is again, all the way out to Paul, wraps it around his neck, Gary picks it up, no defense on him, and right past Toomey. That was picking cherries from about 3 feet away. 4 goals for the greatest midfielder in the game today.
On 5 shots, and he was just 2 goals away now from tying the all-time career goal record held by another Canadian, Stan Cockerton, who had a great career at North Carolina State.
And I would say that he's a lock for player of the year, Gary Gate.
7-4 Syracuse, 7 minutes left, second quarter. Well, the end of a fabulous era in college lacrosse, the era of the Gate brothers. Lining up was Maricek. He's had a really nice first half. Charlie Toomey raking it into his cage. Maricek already with a couple of assists in his first half. They lead a goal now. They trail by 3.
Gates are tired. They have to play defense now. Let's see if Loyola can take advantage of Gary and Paul. Tremendous athletes, but they have to play defense. Paul running out, trying to get a defenseman on. They'll slow down. They're trying to get the switching offensive players and give Syracuse a chance also to get the Gate brothers off the field.
Here comes talented young Jimmy Blanding trying to hook it past the goaltender Palem. He does, but it was wide of the cage. You know, the Orange have shown that amazing ability to answer back. Twice Loyola scored in the second quarter. After their first goal, 13 seconds later, the Orange retaliated. After the second Loyola goal, took Syracuse just 14 seconds for the payback. This is Kevin Beach, one-on-one with a shot too tall.
It's that lock-up offense that I was talking about. It will be a good strategy. He's going against Stratton, big, strong defender. But Beach is impossible to strip the ball from him. He's just so huge. He'll get a shot. You don't want to slide on him.
Nice stop by Blanding. On the shot by, actually by Palem on the Blanding shot.
Should be interference with the goalie.
It is. Syracuse takes possession. 5:54 remaining in the second quarter.
Not a bad play if Syracuse is going to get a fast break, and that's what Cottle will probably have his team doing. Here's a beautiful wheeling shot. Palem picks it up. Ball out front. As soon as he gets a stick on it, his foot's in the crease. He is protected. That's interference. And as he comes out to get the loose ball, the whistle has blown. Syracuse gets possession. But for a team, Eric, that likes to fast break, sometimes when you get the ball in that position, that starts the fast break. If you penalize them there, all you're giving up is a possession, which they already have. You're stopping a fast break. Not a bad play for Loyola.
And a turnover ensues for Syracuse. Offsides. Loyola gets it back, trailing 7-4. They took a 1-0 lead in this game. 1:50 in on the first of 2 Chris Colbeck goals in the first quarter. Trailed it after 1, 3-2.
I was looking for the big matchup with Batain against Kronberger.
This is Ted Nichols coming out in front.
But they don't have Batain against him. They've got a short stick player, Kramer, against Kronberger. Kronberger can really go to town on this matchup. They've been using the crease beautifully to pick off of. See how they pack everybody in the crease?
Paul Cantabine trying to maneuver in. This is Kronberger, scores! Kronberger gets on the scoreboard for the first time in this NCAA title game, and it's now 7-5 Syracuse.
Nice job by Loyola. What they're doing is they're stacking one high on the crease. Then they're working the ball from behind, which takes away the slide. If the slide's going to come, it's a long slide. Now watch. If they slide, it has to be a real long slide. Finally, little Kramer comes all the way down. Well, who does that leave open? We talked about the matchup. It leaves Kronberger open. Kronberger follows the sliding defenseman. Here it is again. Here, see Kramer go? Kronberger follows his defenseman and then pumps in a shot without anybody playing defense against him. Heads-up play by Kronberger, but more importantly, a great scheme by Dave Cottle, and he's taking all the advantages he can off his patented slow-down offense.
94th career goal for Brian Kronberger, a senior out of Jarrettsville, Maryland. The assist from the freshman Paul Cantabine. That's just his 3rd assist this year.
They've been giving them trouble all day long by stacking high on the crease, making the slides long, and a lot of times they're not sliding, and Loyola's getting good shots off on the wings.
Here comes Paul Gate in transition. Off to Maricek. Behind the back to Burns, and he scores. And again, Syracuse retaliates quickly.
Well, when you get into the transition, that's where nobody can play defense against Syracuse. That's not a secret. Cottle knows that. You don't want to get in transition because the athletes are just too superior on the Syracuse team. He might be able to play with them, but not in this form. Watch the ball go down to Maricek. He's a Canadian player. Wraps it around his head all the way across the field. Gives time here for the set left-handed shot, beating Toomey, who had to go from the right pipe to the left pipe. One more time. Ball comes down. Wraps it all the way around to Maricek. Behind his head, over to Burns. Burns has time to set his feet. High velocity bounce shot past Toomey, who came from the one pipe to the other pipe. Tremendous transition goal by Syracuse.
8-5 Syracuse. Greg Burns' 2nd goal of the game, 3rd assist for Maricek. Well, you talk about pinpoint passing. Tommy Maricek been outstanding in this first half. And that goal coming just 17 seconds after the Loyola tally.
They don't look like they're tactical very much when they do those transition goals. They just sort of playground it, just behind the back, arc shots. Let's see if Syracuse adjusts to this isolation from behind is what they have been running, and then they've been stacking high on the crease.
If you talk about quality shots, Syracuse 5 goals in 8 shots this quarter. 4:10 left in the second. Irons lead it by 3. This is the freshman Cantabine. We get a whistle as he comes around, a warding off with defense by the senior Dennis Simmons from Madison, Connecticut.
And they're into a little bit of a different defense there. Syracuse was waiting for the slide. Watch how there was a helping defenseman a little bit to the right of your screen. There's the warding off. And see the stick come poking in from the right? That slide was ready. Syracuse trying to make some adjustments. Cottle and Loyola working the ball from behind the goal, stacking high on the crease to try to take away any defensive help.
Orange going to work offensively now. This is Jimmy Egan from behind, and a whistle stops play.
Timeout Syracuse. 3-goal lead, 3 minutes left. You'd like to pad it a little bit, take him out of that zone.
As expected on a pretty day here in Piscataway, New Jersey, an entertaining battle for the 1990 Lacrosse. Now their 3rd straight title. They have a 3-goal lead and 3 players from Canada that got their start in box lacrosse.
And there they are, the Canadian Bacon. That's our graphic depicts them. The Canadian guys, Gate with 14 goals, Maricek 7, Paul Gate with 5. Gary Gate with his 14 goals ties him for the most goals scored in this playoff series. One more goal and he establishes a new record, beating his own personal record.
This is Jim Egan working from behind the cage, setting things up.
Well, they've got a new offense in here against the zone. The timeout was called. They've spread things out almost like a power play, an extra man play. But you lose possession. That's what the zone does, Eric. It makes you make about 13, 14, 15 passes, and the chances are that one of those will not be a good pass. You can get possession back. Syracuse hard on the ground ball to get it back for their own possession.
Tony Pavlik had the steal, but Tommy Marechek, well, you talk about an unsung hero in this title game. Marechek has been just that to this point. Just a sophomore. He was a second-team All-American last year as a freshman when he had 46 goals.
Syracuse now in almost a power play, extra man situation. There's a good shot. They're spreading their offense, making the zone extend itself, trying to find some cracks in that zone.
Burns missing at close range off the feed from Gary Gate. Joe Bonacci, number 1, the transfer from Navy, trying to scoop up. He draws a crowd. Bonacci still after it, being pressured by number 33, Scott Oslislo, and Tom Marechek able to vacuum up the free ball.
Beach plays him tough. Marechek just dips it back over his shoulder.
Gate steps in. Here's Egan whistling it past the cage with 2:11 left, second quarter. Syracuse out in front, 8-5.
That's the tough thing about playing him so tough way out there. Beach played aggressive defense against Marechek, but with the stick skills of Syracuse, that puts you at a disadvantage. They almost got one off there with Egan the hard shot to win that out of bounds.
Gary Gate, 3 minutes older than his twin brother Paul. Roy Simmons discovered them as box lacrosse players in Canada, brought them in as freshmen January of their first year, introduced them to his team, and they need no further introductions in the world of lacrosse. They have restyled the game with their innovative techniques.
They've been great for lacrosse, and the whole Syracuse program, their philosophy, has really taken the sport back to another level of excitement. Syracuse and the Gate brothers have been excellent for lacrosse in general the last 3 years.
Penalty markers down as Paul Gate may have reached in on number 18, Gary Beach. It is a slash on Paul Gate.
I think it's on Beach. Or on Loyola, because the ball is staying in the Syracuse end of the field. Right here, the penalty would be against. It can't be against Beach because he's staying in the game. On
Oslislo for a slash. So Syracuse with the extra man for a minute here with 1:31 left.
Beach,
second quarter.
Beach thought it was on him, Eric, because he was leaving the field, and then the referee called out on Oslislo. He went back in, of course, for the man down.
Orange 1 for 1 today with the extra attack.
Wow, this is their playground right here. The great offensive skills.
Egan up top to Rodney Dumpson. That deflected off a stick wide.
Just barely caught it. Toomey did. It was going for the upper left corner if you're Charlie Toomey, upper right if you're Dumpson. They started a 1-3-2 and worked the ball.
Paul Gate and Rodney Dumpson play catch with it, just inside the restraining line, about 15 yards in front of Charlie Toomey.
Burns parked in the crease. Now they rotate, bring Gate down. There's Burns. One fake, he's in.
Nice move, and Greg Burns tallies with the extra man. The Orange take a 9-5 lead with 58 seconds left, second period.
Nice little move. They brought Paul Gate inside. Burns popped out. When Gate came in, he drew the defense. There's Roy Simmons Jr. He likes it when the extra man works. Watch this. The ball will come around. Nice move to Burns, a little face dodge. And there's your goal on extra man. Beautifully done by the explosive offense. Greg Burns, third goal of the game.
Back-to-back goals for Greg Burns. Senior from Fayetteville, New York. He had a 4-goal, 3-assist semifinal against North Carolina and shining here in the championship game.
This is where, if you're Loyola, you really got to tighten the clamps up here, because if you get much more of a window here, you're going to be in trouble. You got to come out of that zone a little bit. You don't want to get farther than this behind the great team from Syracuse.
Lee Felsmo, the Orangemen now a perfect 2 for 2 with the extra man, so they've capitalized on their chances. They get a hold here without possession on Loyola. Possession over to Syracuse.
They've done a great job in the face-offs, really dominant. They won all the face-offs in the first quarter. And threaten here to put this game away if they can rack up a couple more goals. And Syracuse knows that, so they call another timeout, but because with 39 seconds left here, they can go to a 5-goal lead and really threaten to blow the lid off this game. 3 years, and there's your record, 50-5, playoff record 9-1 at the Dome, almost unbeatable. And then, of course, 2 national championships.
Well, you see those numbers, you can know why Roy Simmons said earlier, if I have tears in my eyes today, it won't be over a win or a loss. It'll be because it's the end of the Gate brother era at Syracuse University. Give Roy Simmons credit. He's given the Gates and the rest of this great talent the freedom to express their abilities.
Well, he's one of my favorites. I got to tell you, Roy Simmons, I love the way he positions the game of lacrosse into the lives of these kids, and I think that's important. It's not just players. It's not just Paul and Gary Gate, the shooters. They're the people, Paul and Gary Gate. Everybody comes out of his program, loves the experience, and is better suited to go on in life because of Lacrosse and Roy Simmons.
Out in front, near miss. Good save by Charlie Toomey on the Joe Bonacci quick stick. Final 25 seconds of the second quarter. Here comes Tony Pavlik. Nice feed up ahead, but Chris Polbeck couldn't convert.
Well, McCabe got a stick in there, and he's the sensational first-team All-America defenseman. Let's give Toomey credit for making the biggest save of the game for him. That would have been a 5-goal lead. He came right into the teeth of that extra man, put it back into the hands of his Loyola Greyhounds, and then on the other end of the field, the first-team All-America Pat McCabe steps up and saves a goal for Syracuse. Right here, watch Toomey. Boom, comes right in, smothers that ball, turns it back, gets possession. Great control for Toomey. And then on the other end of the field, it was Pat McCabe with a sensational check from behind to save Syracuse from giving up a goal in the final 12 seconds. Only the first half, though. Only time, and it's a great crowd. Eric, you look around, you wondered how the lacrosse world was going to react to a relative underdog like Loyola. I wouldn't say underdog, but they don't have the huge followings that have been cultivated for North Carolina and Hopkins. They're getting one fast, but the whole lacrosse community has reacted to the sensational rise in Loyola lacrosse, knowing that they're the type of team that can give Syracuse problems. Here they are to watch this great game. It's been a pretty darn good first half.
Well, Dave Cottle's club 11-2 on the year. They bring a 5-game winning streak into this NCAA final. A dramatic 14-13 double overtime come from behind job in the semifinals against Yale, and they have really captured the hearts of the lacrosse fans and the imagination of the lacrosse fans in this 1990 tournament.
All right, back to the game, though. We've got 12 seconds left. We forget that's why the timeout was called. Cottle wants a goal out of this. He's down by 4. Syracuse gave the ball up. They had moments left, didn't get it on the extra man. Now Cottle has an opportunity. He's called a play. He wants to get a good shot off. They're starting on the wing. Let's see if they try to get it into the hands of the great Kronenberger.
Yeah, they've kept Kronenberger quiet in this first half. Just a goal. Here comes the freshman Cantabine, coughed it up, and may have gone into the crease.
Well, that didn't look like it was diagrammed, I'm sure, by Cottle. Pretty sloppy as it came in. 4 seconds left, and this first half looks like it'll end with 9-5.
Orangemen led 3-2 after 1. Our last tie came at 3. Loyola's kept it pretty close. This is the largest lead on the board of the game for Syracuse. Boy, from half field, Gary Gate nearly rifled it home.
They had 2 players in front of Toomey trying to screen Toomey, so Gate took the half-field shot, 2 screeners, didn't quite get by Charlie Toomey.
4 first-half goals for Gary Gate, the defending champion Orangemen of Syracuse, lead it by 4 at halftime. Eric Reed with Leif Elsmo, the defending champion Syracuse Orangemen, with a 4-goal lead of the upset-minded Loyola Greyhounds. And Leif, at this point, how does Loyola feel about being down by 4?
They have to feel pretty good because they've gotten about as much as you can expect to get out of this Greyhound team. They've controlled the tempo, yet they've lost a great majority of the face-offs. They've taken advantage of the offensive opportunities, gotten a significant amount of goals. They're only down by 4, and in most cases, that might disappoint you. But against the great team, Syracuse, Loyola still controlling tempo, still with a chance to be in there at the end.
Greyhounds need a bigger second half from their star. Brian Kronenberger had 5 goals in the semifinal against Yale, just 1 first half against Syracuse.
No question. He's being focused on by the defense of Syracuse. He's been open, gotten some shots, but you've got to put it in the goal, and that will be a key in the third quarter.
Stick skills just mind-boggling for the Orangemen. Tom Maricek, 3 assists. Gary Gate, 4 goals. Greg Burns with 3 tallies.
And they really make it look so easy. This team, I think, is going to revolutionize lacrosse in America. What used to be technically a bad thing to do, the passes behind the back, around behind your neck, those will become hopefully parts of increasingly potent offenses. They are good offensive weapons when they're done with the accuracy that Syracuse uses them.
It's more than just the NCAA championship game. It's a celebration of the sport. And here at Rutgers Stadium, the defending champions lead the Greyhounds by the score of 9-5. One area they've been dominant, Leaf, in the face-off circle.
We talked about that being a key for Loyola. Loyola's controlled tempo without getting face-offs, and we start with shots. You can see Syracuse ahead there by 6 saves. Of course, Syracuse being pressured there, and Palem coming up big. Face-offs, there's the big margin, 12-4 over Loyola. That is really not hurting their control time, though. They're doing a good job of controlling it when they get it. Syracuse with an edge in ground balls. Clear is not really a factor. An extra man, both teams pretty darn good. Syracuse 2 for 2. Loyola right on the average of the game against Yale at 1 for 2.
By the way, we mentioned that Gary Gait, the man you are looking at, has 4 goals, took just 6 shots in the first half. We'll be back with the start of our second half here at Rutgers Stadium right after the part of the game.
It is absolutely critical that Loyola takes advantage of this offensive series. They turned away Syracuse, got the opening face-off in this third period to start the second half. Loyola turned them back. Here's their offensive push. They score here. They're back to within 3.
Greyhounds so far led today by the 2-goal scoring of junior attackman Chris Colbeck. And here he comes in on cage. 2 penalty markers go down.
Looks like a penalty, a sensational move on the far side, but a penalty against Syracuse, and it'll be an extra man play for Loyola. And here is really a great opportunity for them to go ahead and close that. Watch the push from behind, right into the crease. That's where the penalty starts. Palem with a nice save, but that'll cost Syracuse. There'll be a man down for the next 1 minute of play.
Foul against Rob Persing. The push from behind on Sean Smith, number 1.
Well, 1 for 2 so far in this game, and that's a pretty good percentage, 50% if they can hold that. But this is one of those opportunities. They're getting to go 6 against 5 for Syracuse. They've got to make it count.
Well, you talk about valuing each possession. This is certainly a valuable one. Blanding with a fake. Nice move, but stopped by Palem.
And that was a great save by Palem. He came in low with the stick. Landing had the move. He could have gone high or low. And Palem knew just where to put the stick. It's almost uncanny. That's one of the reasons I think he is the best in Division I right now. His stick is always high, low. He reads the play beautifully.
Well, I love Palem's attitude at the press conference yesterday. He said, we are not just happy to be here. If we get beat, it is the end of the world. Here comes Gary Gait into the box. Nice feed for Maricek, and he gets his first goal of the championship game. Deservedly so. Maricek with 3 first-half assists.
He has really controlled the offense. The Canadian connection working beautifully. Gait came down, drew a lot of attention. You've got to respect Gary coming in. He gets help from the defense now, trying to help. Ball comes into Maricek, one-on-one with Toomey, and that is a tough order for little Charlie Toomey to make that save. Maricek gets the goal, a 5-goal lead for Syracuse. That first goal of the third period, Loyola giving it up an extra man, not getting it, not taking advantage of the opportunity. Syracuse getting it. That is critical. It opens the gates a little more for Syracuse to turn on the Jets.
Well, Tommy Maricek now with 8 goals in the tournament. That's his 34th this year. Face-off win. Kevin Beach out in front. And a nice save of Chris Colbeck, shot again by Matt Palem.
That's better than a nice save. That is a top-notch save. Here it is, one-on-one. Very much like Maricek on the other end against Toomey. Maricek sticks it. Palem comes up big. Saves Syracuse again. Watch this guy, Palem. The ball comes over. It's one-on-one. When the ball goes one more step down here, it's just Palem. He comes in, right in, fist, knocks the ball away.
Matt Palem having an outstanding final game.
Having an outstanding year. He is definitely one of the best. He gets my first-team All-America vote, although unfortunately because of the guys in front of him, I guarantee you he will not get it. But maybe I'll be surprised.
Here's Paul Cantabine coming around. ISO'd with Ricky Kramer, and he loses the ball. And Palem, we told you, was an option quarterback in high school. A daring netminder coming out, going for a spin. And going down, we'll get a penalty on Kevin Beach.
Well, Kevin Beach not that mobile, especially with that hurt knee. He came out there. Look at Palem. See, psyched. He's a leader back there, and he's taking charge with that clear. Outran Beach. Beach got wrapped up, kind of out of control, got called for the hold. And here's the explosive offense getting into gear down extra man. But let's go back to that play. Palem out of the net. He's a gambler. This is where Loyola would like to get the ball on the ground and take advantage of this gamble. Beach comes over, wraps him up. Palem playing the hurt look, making sure he gets the whistle. When he sees the yellow flag, he bounces up, ready to go.
Palem had arthroscopic surgery at midseason, missed the better part of 4 games. He's back and going out in a blaze of glory. Had 22 saves against Carolina in the semifinals. This was a 32nd man-up opportunity for Syracuse. And just missing there was Greg Burns. 10:18 left, third quarter. The Orangemen looking for their 3rd straight national title, lead at 10-5.
And don't forget, this unit is 2 for 2 so far today. So you know darn well Charlie Toomey's thinking a little bit about this. These guys are so explosive and so great with accuracy.
Coming in, but without the angle, was Greg Burns. Rebound taken by Egan. Out in front, that ball deflected away by Toomey, but Greg Burns right there to re-scoop.
Trying to hit Paul Gait up top. Now they've rotated around to a different alignment, 1-3-2. Not a really a well-conceived extra man. They're not taking the time yet. The last couple times they bypassed a man to get the open shot.
Gary Gate one-on-one. Spectacular goal, but they're going to wave it off.
They are really being tough on Gary Gate. In the semifinals, he had 2 sensational shots around the goal. He ended up scoring 5 goals, but they took 2 of them away. One was unjust, we saw in the replay against in the semifinals. But this one of the ones that looked just like the air gate shot from 2 years ago. And that, my friend, is a good goal. The referees just can't wait to take this kind of shot away from a great player. Look at him launching in. That is a goal. But they want to say he stepped on the line. It's almost like it's unfair that you're so good. Gary Gate gets the ball taken away from him.
On transition, the shot and the goal by Greg Burns. So just that quickly, Syracuse strikes again. 4th goal this afternoon for Burns. 11-5 lead for the defending champs.
This is a very close-knit team, and I think that kind of thing against Gary Gate, and he makes a sensational play, a play that nobody else can make, or nobody has attempted really with the ease of ability and the grace that he does. They take it away from him. Greg Burns benefits because it fires the team up. They came back with transition, got the ball into Burns. He gets goal 11. Now, you're a zone team, Loyola. You like to pack it in and slow it down. You're 6 goals down. Cottle has a big, big problem here. He's got to play a type of game that has not been successful with the kids he has, and it's going to be real tough.
The face-off at midfield between Kirk Pratt and Steve Vakeness. Vakeness trying to get something going for Loyola. Another Greyhound from the Syracuse area. He was the captain of the 1986 West Genesee team.
And against Yale, he was sensational as a face-off man. Won 2/3 of his face-offs, 14-20, and really was a key in that victory.
He won the last 5 face-offs of that game, which helped the Greyhounds get back into it with those 3 goals in the final 2:06 of regulation. They won it in the NCAA's first double overtime playoff game. They trail it here by 6 with 8:50 left in the 3rd quarter.
Loyola still playing a zone.
And a 30-second penalty coming
Push
up
ball
against
with
Loyola.
possession. Right, push ball with possession. Extra man for Syracuse. But again, Cottle forced to stay in his zone. He's still staying in his zone, but you're not going to get possession back. What he's counting on is Syracuse just not being able to be patient. They want to shoot, so he fears he'll get the ball back anyway. He stays in his zone at this point.
Let's go back to that air gate shot that was disallowed. Clarify the rule on going into the crease. You can land there as long as the ball goes in the net.
Right, as soon as it breaks the plane. He did not step in it. That's the only thing the referee could have thought, that he stepped on the line. He didn't step. As long as the ball breaks the plane before he comes down in the crease, that's a legal play. Gate has done it successfully from behind the goal, now from the side.
So a 30-second advantage for Syracuse. They go to work in a hurry. Out front, another goal for Greg Burns. Greg Burns on the extra man from Gary Gate. Burns now with 5 goals in the game.
And this game is really threatening to be a blowout, as many suspected it could be. Take nothing from Loyola. It's just an exceptional team. This is Syracuse offense at its best. The ball being moved around on extra. It's 6 men against 5. Here's Burns. It'll come down one more time to him. The defense has not rotated fast enough to get there. He takes the hard shot against Toomey. And there's goal number 12. Cottle wants to go ahead and try to regroup for one last push, but this game is quickly getting out of hand. There it is, one last shot. 12-7, or 12-5 rather, a 7-goal lead.
Orangemen clicking on all cylinders, including the extra man. 12-5, 8:35 left in the 3rd period. 7 unanswered goals. They've taken a commanding lead over Loyola en route to their 3rd straight national championship. It's been pretty, Leaf.
It's been pretty if you're a Syracuse fan. The last time Loyola scored, 2nd quarter, Kronberger scored. The score was 7-5. They were very much in the game, down by 2. Since then, as you mentioned, 7 straight for the Orangemen. And it's only going to get uglier if you're a Loyola fan, I would believe, because this Syracuse crew is out for showtime. Maricek had a between-the-legs feed a moment ago. This team really with exceptional skills. And now Loyola forced to come out of the zone defense, play a little more man-to-man, just not matching up well anywhere on the field. Showtime, Orangemen.
Gary Gate with 4 goals, 2 assists. Tommy Maricek, 2 goals and 4 assists. He has been dazzling with his stick. Second midfield group on right now for the Orange. Ricky Kramer, Dan Cahey, and Joe Bonacci. The attack still Jim Egan, Greg Burns, and the amazing Tom Maricek. Just a sophomore. He's been outstanding this afternoon.
It's going to be a different year for him next year when he is the focus. They lose a ton of offensive power off of this team, and he will be the guy that all the defenses will focus on. Now you're still in sort of a zone defense, which, you know, I guess Cottle doesn't want it to get too ugly, but you got to come out and play. I think this is, I don't know, a little selfish or something. He's got to go ahead and, even if it doesn't match up, play man-to-man, try to get the ball, try to win the game. You're down by a ton. Let's not try to keep yourself from losing by 20. You got to play the game man-to-man and try to get the ball.
2:35 left in the third quarter. 14-9. Syracuse leads it. Egan, nice feed in front. Joe Bonacci couldn't stick it. Dan Cahey there. Back inside for Bonacci, but he loses it. A nice steal by Gary Beach, the honorable mention All-American defensive midfielder for Loyola.
Well, he was triple teamed on the crease, and it was really a bad decision to try to get in there. Triple teamed with that zone. He may have looked open, but as soon as the ball came in, so did 3 defenders. That's exactly what the zone wants to do, bait you inside.
Nice move inside for Ted Nichols, but he lost the ball. Nichols able to scoop back up. You know, Kronberger, who has it now, really bothered by calf cramps late in that Yale game. He has not been the same player today. Nichols shot off a body. I think it was Eric Holbrook that stepped in front of it out front.
Kronberger had a chance earlier in the game to put a couple goals in. He had some nice cuts and shots on Paleb. Didn't quite get the shots and hasn't been much of a factor yet.
Syracuse Orangemen closing in on history. Their 4th national championship in the sport of lacrosse and their 3rd in a row.
And I think the coaches were saying to him, we need a little bit more, Brian. You're the guy. You got to suck it up and try. We're on your shoulders. As tough as a load that is to carry, and not much time left. Give us all you got.
Kevin Anderson coming in on Cage. Weak shot goes wide. This game was once tied at 3. And on Kronberger's lone goal of the game, it was Syracuse by 2, 7-5. But since then, 7 straight Syracuse goals.
No reason to go away, though. 14-5. But as I mentioned, showtime coming up. Syracuse is so exciting to watch. The rest of this game is going to have, I would bet, some creative, maybe revolutionary shots coming out of that explosive offense.
And the end of a golden era of lacrosse, the Gate Brothers era at Syracuse. So we'll enjoy every precious minute as it ticks on down. Nice move by Todd Sloper. Draws a penalty marker. And Loyola will get an extra man chance here. This is a game very emotional at the outset. A bench-clearing brawl in warm-ups. Another one early in the first quarter.
Can you believe that? In warm-ups, Loyola really getting into it face-to-face with Syracuse. Here's the penalty. Sloper with a tremendous move. He really kind of put the stick against his chest. And that, if he did, that would be a penalty. But great moves, great skills coming out of that pack of defense by Syracuse. Syracuse getting real loose on the defensive end of the field now with that big lead. They've got the skills to go ahead and strip people of the ball. You'll see them play defense all over that end of the field.
Foul apparently on John Winship, the sophomore from Fairport, New York. It's a slash, and Loyola gets a minute man advantage. And they need it, trailing 14-5 with just under a minute left in the third quarter.
This is absolutely a must-goal situation. 6 against 5. They've got to get one here.
Top, that's Nichols. This is Jim Blanding. Lost the ball as he was coming in. The All-American Pat McCabe comes up with it for Syracuse and takes a whack.
Well, Blanding was handcuffed a little bit from the feed by Nichols, and he really couldn't get it back to his left hand quick enough. And with the aggressive defense by McCabe, that's what Blanding was thinking about. Playing a lot of games down here. Very, very confident, this defensive group right now, led by, right there, Pat McCabe, who misses that high pass by Paleb.
Syracuse was coming dangerously close to a 10-second violation. New rules in lacrosse, you must clear it out of the defensive area within 10 seconds. Fair mistake today for Matt Palin.
They're very loose down there, and you're right, they're probably not just thinking, and they probably would have had that violation had they not thrown the ball out of bounds. But that's the danger of getting that loose. They feel comfortable. They feel not threatened at this point in the game. They're going to be aggressive. Let it all go here in the final minutes, the final quarter and 5 seconds.
Seconds ticking away in the third quarter as Ted Nichols runs out the clock.
That'll keep possession because you had it in possession. They will start the fourth quarter with a man advantage.
Roy Simmons Jr. in his 1990 Syracuse on a goal for the last 20 minutes. With Lee Felsmo, I'm Eric Reed. Welcome back. Start of the action here in the fourth quarter. And here's your look at the third quarter numbers.
Shots, of course, Syracuse way out in front. They're getting big margins now in almost every category. And of course, the 9-goal lead, the stats become a little bit inconsequential other than to analyze how you got there. But Loyola started, Eric, this quarter extra. They had enough time on that penalty to get a good shot. They really didn't handle the ball that well. They're starting to feel the effects of this powerhouse team from Syracuse and feeling a little bit helpless against them. Dave Cottle right now did all he could to keep his team close. They were right in this game well into the second quarter, but then it just couldn't last forever. We talk about them having to play a perfect game. They played a good game. You got to do it for 4 quarters. Very few teams can.
Well, Dave Cottle and his Loyola program has come out of the shadows and into the sunshine with this NCAA tournament. A school with just over 3,000 full-time students located in downtown Baltimore, just 10 blocks north of Johns Hopkins, but they play in nobody's shadows after this game, with the exception of Syracuse.
No question about it. They've made a big step up. They've got the respect. The program has been now to the championships. What a difference that makes to have experienced this and to really experience it in good fashion. They came out and gave it everything they had and kept this game close for about a third of the contest.
Dave Cottle been rewarded just recently, signing a new 3-year contract. He'll have a good club next year. Just 7 seniors on this NCAA finalist.
What do you think being in this final means for recruiting?
Jim Egan drew the pipe. Rebound by Paul Gate. Comes wide and sinks it. Paul Gate with the 15th goal of the afternoon for Syracuse.
Paul Gate, 2 in a row for him. He came flying in. That left-handed shot has such velocity. He elected to go low, had the stick hang low, but still with the great speed, Toomey couldn't save it. Watch it, get the stick down low off the defensive beach, and he still goes whipping that thing in low, just with such velocity that Toomey right there in position still could not make the save. The 15th goal, 10-goal margin, and Roy Simmons Jr., along with Paul Gate, marching on toward that 3rd straight championship.
A 5-point afternoon for Paul Gate. His brother Gary with 6 points on 4 and 2, and it's now 8 unanswered goals past Charlie Toomey for Syracuse.
Syracuse now just opening it up, and again, you talk about a team that's built around his own defense. What do you do here? You've really got to start playing. The game is basically all but over unless you go out and strip people of the ball, get possessions, and some good shots.
This could wind up being the largest margin of victory ever in an NCAA final. Back in 1977, Cornell beat Hopkins by 8, 16-8, and that's what stands at this point as your largest margin.
Now, it's clear a spot in the record books because I'm sure this one will go in there. This is an exceptional team. Take nothing from Cottle and Loyola, great year, and the best of the rest. This is one of those years that Syracuse is just a big step ahead of everybody else.
Well, the other 3 teams that came to this Final Four, North Carolina, Yale, and Loyola, were probably in all reality playing for 2nd place. Inside a goal, finally the spell ends. Chris Colbeck comes up with the goal for Loyola. He's got the hat trick. That's his consolation as the Greyhounds, and an 8-goal run. It's now 15-6.
Oh, Cottle's just got to let the whole team get loose here and go ahead and run these fast breaks. This is something this team does not like to do against Syracuse, but they're perfectly capable. Great skilled players on this team. Watch the ball finally get over to Colbeck. He'll come in with no defenseman against him and beat Palem to the far side. Sensational fast break started by Sloper and ended with Colbeck bouncing it past Palem. Hey, this team's got plenty of athletes, Eric, that can go ahead and run that fast break. It's just that their style, as we look at Chris Colbeck, is really suited best for a patterned offense. Cottle right now has to let that team go and hope that they can catch up.
Well, the countdown has already begun for Syracuse. Licks, the entertaining Orange, go back to work on the offensive end.
I had the attendance announced, Eric, just under 20,000. A very good crowd here to see Loyola against Syracuse. Right up around 20,000, 19,075.
On a perfect weather day here in Piscataway, New Jersey. Really been a joy for the Lacrosse fans. Gary Gate bulleting one toward Charlie Toomey. He's there for the stop. And a rare fast break opportunity as Chris McGovern comes in for Loyola. This is Kevin Beach. Approaching the 10.5-minute mark. Time remaining. Final quarter.
North Carolina playing Syracuse in the semis. That's where everybody thought that if there was going to be a good physical matchup, North Carolina had the only chance. They didn't get there mentally in time to play the game. They got in a big hole, so now it's up to Loyola with their patient offense to try to stop this push toward the championship. And it looks like nobody's going to get in the way of Syracuse this year.
Orange lead it by 9. The left-hander Nichols circles the cage, still has it off the top of pipe. And Paul Canopy in there for the rebound.
Got to give that to Palem, too. Palem staying right on the pipe. I think it really came off his fists. He just stays his ground. The shot came around. He very calmly blocks it with his fists. Exceptional talent in the goal, Matt Palem.
Cantabine with it right behind, out in front. A shot and a score for Chris Colbeck. Chris Colbeck's had a very respectable afternoon for the Greyhounds.
You know, and that's the kind of offense that they were running early in the first quarter. They were coming off creases, picking off the defense high on the crease, and that's what Colbeck does. Watch him go behind. The action starts off the ball. If you can see at the top of the screen, watch Colbeck bounce off the crease right there. Wide open, leaving the defenseman behind him. It was McCabe coming too late. Bounce shot past Halem. Very tough to save that when the ball comes from behind the goal to the front with no defender on Colbeck. They've really used those picks on the crease beautifully. And Eric, in the first quarter, that was the key to them keeping the game close.
Chris Colbeck with 13 goals in 3 games in this tournament. He's had an outstanding series. And of his 4 goals, 2 have come back-to-back here in the fourth quarter. Paul Cantabine chalks up his 2nd assist.
Don't forget what Loyola did against Yale. Yale was up by 3 with 4 minutes left. This team from Loyola does not quit. They could still make this interesting.
This is Ricky Kramer for Syracuse. 9.5 minutes left, fourth quarter. 15-7 Orangemen.
Loyola playing Yale. Yale seemingly had the game won, up by 3 with 4 minutes to go. Loyola just kept pushing, got possessions. Once they got the ball, didn't give it back to Yale. Won all of the last faceoffs, ended up winning in overtime. This team is going to play out the last 9 minutes. Syracuse has to respect that.
Yale had that 13-10 lead with 3 minutes and change. And Loyola comes back with 3 goals to tie it in the final 2:06. The game knotter coming with 26 seconds left in regulation. Dan Cahey with a bullet. Well, Dan Cahey anchors that second midfield unit, and he just rifled in his 13th goal of the year. Syracuse 16, Loyola 7.
From Herkimer Community College, New York resident, this guy really with a cannon. And let's take a look right here. They're still playing a zone, Loyola is, and it gives the outside shot to all the Syracuse guns. And right there, Cahey just loads it up, pops in the 16th goal. And one more time, we'll take a look. Watch how the zone is real soft in there. Looking over, trying to make an adjustment. Nobody sliding in, and the shot coming in high and hard right to the corner.
Less than a minute after Loyola tallied, Syracuse answers again. Well, and Tom Marichek with the assist. 5 assists here in the final for Marichek. Ricky Kramer. Ricky Kramer off a very nice feed from Greg Burns makes it back-to-back goals for Syracuse with 8:50 left in the game.
This is some of the talent that will be showing up at Syracuse after this era of play by the Gay brothers. Ricky Kramer only a sophomore. Plenty of good players left as we look at the crowd here for this championship game. Syracuse now winding down the season. Look at these guys. Pratt comes up with the ball. Fast break. This is their game. Syracuse loves it. Racehorse is down. 1 pass, 2 pass, all the way across. Kramer with a nice little move comes in and just gets it inside the pipe. 17th goal of the game, and that came seconds away from the goal previous to it.
7 seconds.
Hard to run that far in 7 seconds. That's a fast break offense. Here they go again.
Tom Gilmartin controlling the faceoff for Syracuse. Their lead now 10. Here's Kramer. Nice dodge move towards the cage, but he backs off.
You might think that Gilmartin sounds familiar from Maryland. He is a Maryland transfer. Was an excellent player down there. Elected to come up here and play for the Orangemen.
Gilmartin missing on the shot. Rebound behind for Greg Burns. He is being pressured by Sean Quinn, but Syracuse retains. Marichek again. Artfully done.
Face-off-wise, you see Syracuse getting the big possessions here. They've won the last 8 face-offs. So you talk about keys to the game. Loyola fell flat on their face when they needed to get the face-offs. Just couldn't do it against the great Syracuse face-off crew.
That's what rescued them in their victory over Yale. They won the last 5 face-offs to tie it and send it to the double overtime.
Well, now let's hope we get some entertaining shots here from Syracuse. They can create some beauties. They already had one today, one of those air gate shots taken away from Gary Gate. We've seen him taken, or he's had 3 shots taken away from him in this series. The semifinal 2 and 1 here today.
Air gate originally unveiled to the awestruck public 2 years ago in the semifinals at the Carrier Dome against Pennsylvania.
And you take a look at the keys of the game for Loyola. Win 66% of the faceoffs. Well, that's where they really fell down and did not contribute to the faceoff area to give them control. They controlled the tempo, but without the faceoffs, they really couldn't get the ball enough. And turning Syracuse gambles into goals, they did it 1 time out of 8, according to our statistics. And look at your faceoff stats. 2 out of 3, but for the wrong team. Syracuse dominating in the faceoff area.
Curry with a nice run, but another outstanding check for Paul Gate. Roy Simmons Jr., he is so proud that the Gate brothers, not only outstanding offensive players, but really the complete midfielder.
Well, they're complete men. Let me tell you, these guys are real solid citizens. Let's take a look at this check. Paul Gate coming up, dragging from behind. The wrap check, they play so beautifully with one hand on the stick. Just the ball is neatly dislodged. And there you go.
Really not overstating it, but the Gate brothers have done for the sport of lacrosse what Michael Jordan has done for pro basketball.
And they're going to stay in the sport. They very much don't want to leave it. It's been good to them. But just great people, as I mentioned. Just real solid kids, very unselfish, hardworking. They care very much about this team, about their coach, Roy Simmons, and the sport of lacrosse.
This is Gary Gate feeding it back to Rodney Dumpson. His ricochet is deflected by the goaltender, Charlie Toomey. Now, talking about the Gate brothers, you know, other stars of collegiate sports move on to the professional level. These two play for the love of the game, and like all great lacrosse players, have to go on to other things after their college days are done.
Well, I think they're going to stay in the manufacturing end of the business with lacrosse equipment. But you can see these two play, though I'm sure they'll be playing club somewhere. But Gary Gate and Paul are playing for the Canadian World Team, and they will be in Australia in July.
Marichek.
Right, so if you want to spend a few $1,000 to go down and watch that game, you might enjoy it. See the Fijis while you're there.
Gary Gate behind the back. Goal number 18 for Syracuse, number 5 for Gate. Keep in mind, Gary Gate now
sets a record.
Yeah, just one away from tying Stan Cochran's all-time goal-scoring record.
But he's already set the record for goals in a playoff performance. He broke his own record, and right there shows you his skills. Look at the standing ovation, like you might get for a Michael Jordan. They are standing up, applauding the efforts of the great Gary Gate and also Tom Marichek as he gets substituted for. But have they really electrified the sport of lacrosse with their skills? Just set a record for the most goals in the NCAA playoffs, as we mentioned, 15, and he broke his own record of 14. One more time. Gary comes out. When he gets the ball, he'll be coming from the right of your screen. Here he comes, takes it, goes underhand, behind the back, and Toomey never even got his feet set because normally players won't shoot from that much of an unsettled position.
Of course, the assist from brother Paul. Here's Brooke Chase coming in. Nice stop by Charlie Toomey. 6:05 left, fourth quarter. Just a matter of time for Syracuse. They lead at 18-7.
With this great talent, the Gate brothers, Marichek, going into the World Games, they expect the World Game competition in Australia to be one of the keenest in the last 20 years.
As the United States team shape up going into that.
Always an excellent team, the favored team. As we watch Beach come in and a great save by Palin, and then Beach follows up with another off the pipe, it looked like.
Off the rebound, Palin again with a big stop and a rare mistake on the air and upfield toss.
So you got the Gates off the field. There's an 18-7 score, and as far as putting him in the game, if I was Roy Simmons, I'd want to play him the last few moments because, again, it's showtime. They are very special, and just selfishly, I think everybody here wants to see him play the game of lacrosse. It's that exciting. Let's put him back on the field, Roy.
If they should not return, it would be very fitting that their last combination would be Paul assisting Gary on another of their many goals. Greyhounds looking to get something going. This is Chris Dunkel, a senior from Bethesda, Maryland. First time we've seen Chris in the ball game today.
Eric, 18-7, right on the margin of victory average for Syracuse for this year. And that also sets a new standard. 11 goals, their average win margin every game this year.
Average 20 goals a game this year. Really only had one tight game on a rain-soaked day at Pennsylvania. Oh, there's another pipe shot. Jim Blanding, who stepped into the crease after the delivery, so it'll go back to Syracuse. This 1990 Orange team, only one close game. It was a 15-13 win at Penn. That was a game that Gary Gate came up very big as a face-off man late in the game to rescue Syracuse in the fourth quarter against the Quakers.
And again, that's the kind of team that gives them trouble. Penn has played them as tough as anybody over the last 2 years. It's that patient defense, that zone defense that confuses it sometimes, the high running, high scoring, electrifying offense of Syracuse. Paul Gate right there, 3-3. So many times you forget the skills of Paul, and you know, you have to wonder how good would Gary be. You know he's gonna be great, but with his brother on the same midfield, that really opens up opportunities for Gary.
Here's Andy Bolin. By the way, that score against Penn was 15-12. Joe Bonacci in close, scores.
Well, here's some of the second and third units getting a chance to show their skills. And Bonacci makes it look pretty easy. I'm looking at the next midfield unit come in. They're not going back to the gates yet, but let's go back to Bonacci. Moving it in, Burns all the way out front. Bonacci, he picks up a bad feed, handles it beautifully, and dumps it past Toomey. 19-7. The team just keeps rolling on.
Now going to be party time very shortly in the city of Syracuse, New York. The countdown reaches 4 minutes and 21 seconds left till Syracuse wears the crown for the third consecutive year. The lead for Syracuse, a dozen. 19-7, 4:10 left in our championship game here at Rutgers Stadium.
Here goes the transition offense of Syracuse. Doesn't matter what offensive unit's in there, they all like to run it the same. Pushed upfield, 3 or 4 passes, hard shot.
And a score for Tom Gilmartin. You were talking about the former Maryland Terrapin. He dents the twine. Goal number 20 for Syracuse, a team that averaged 20 goals a game here in 1990.
Well, Gilmartin's a New York kid, but he went to Maryland, wasn't comfortable there, came back to play for the Orangemen, and ended up, people have been playing a lot at Maryland. A star down there. He comes up here and really rides the pine, but that shows you the kind of skills he has. And the Gate brothers still not on the field, so maybe they are done for the day. We'll have to wait and see. Another unit coming in. It's Jason Pokorny in there right now, along with Andrew Bolin. This is the unit starting after that last goal by Gilmartin.
You know, Gary Gate must have snuck in because he was credited with the assist. So it's now 5 goals, 3 assists for Gary Gate. And here is Gary. So an encore performance for the Gate boys. Behind the back, Tom Marichek. They'll take a bow, Tommy. You have been outstanding and artistic on this national championship afternoon.
What an athlete, what skills these Canadians bring to the game. And you're absolutely right. I wasn't looking in the right place, but Gary Gate parked behind, playing attack right now. Playing on the attack with Marichek for the final moments. And what a series that was. Marichek, 3 goals, 5 assists. How do you defend a guy that can whip it behind the back? Let's take a look. Here the ball comes all the way over to Marichek. Takes a behind-the-back shot right past Toomey, who's looking for the right half of the body. He's looking for the forehand shot. He gives him the backhand behind the neck. 21 goals for Syracuse.
They have scored 14 of the last 16 goals in this title game. And coming back with an answer, Chris Colbeck, and he has had a banner afternoon.
Well, we didn't see, but Matt Tatum is out of the game. That's against Hine. He snuck into the game once, little Lee Hine, who's 5'7", replacing Matt Tatum, and that's the first goal against him.
And Colbeck's 5th goal today. Chris Colbeck came into this game with 9 goals in the tournament on 16 shots, so he has had an outstanding NCAA playoff.
Probably an all-tournament player. He's definitely a skilled player on the Loyola program. And they've got a lot of talent, a lot to be happy about for the Greyhounds of Baltimore. But, you know, let's face it, Syracuse is 1 notch above the world this year, 1990.
Nice check from behind by the little guy, Sean Smith. When we talk about the tournament for Chris Colbeck, 5 goals in this game, 40 on the year, just a junior, and he'll remember his game winner against Yale forever.
It was a sensational moment for that whole program. They fought back, scored 3 goals in the final moments of the 4th period, overtime win.
Kronberger comes in, and Lee Hine able to stop him. 2:50 remaining in the game, 21-8 Syracuse. Kronberger again, tries it behind the back, and converts. Brian Kronberger, he waited a long time for his 2nd goal of this championship tilt.
Showcased his skills. He came in against 1, then 2 defensemen, got wrapped up by a 3rd, but still managed to get the shot off, beat Lee Hine. Let's take a look at the persistence of Kronberger. Beats 1 defender, coming around for the right hand. Watch how he gets help on the defensive end of the field. They come in, really tie him up. Boom. To the right of the screen, there was another defender who forced him to wrap it around his head, beating Lee Hine. And there is goal number 9 for the Greyhounds.
Brian Kronberger's 95th career goal. He's a proud young man. He said, I did not want to be sitting in the stands watching somebody else play what could have been my final game as a college player. That's a great check from behind as Steve Vakeness came in for Loyola.
Gary Gate playing attack. He's down the field, left side of the goal.
Shot deflected by the netminder Toomey.
There's Gary right now playing attack.
Gary Gate just having some fun. Out in front, Matt Ritter with the toss. Shot taken, but goes over the cage. That shot taken by John Barr of Syracuse. A 6'1" freshman midi from Fairport, New York. Well, that's what it's all about. Who takes it home? And for the third straight year,
Roy Simmons has a couple of those.
Oh, yes.
He's going to put it right next to the other two. He's got 3, actually, but 2 in a row. So it'll be the first time a team has won 4 of those championships.
Well, Maryland set the old championship game scoring record when they put 20 in the net in the 1975 championship game. Syracuse shatters another mark en route to national championship number 4 and their 3rd in a row.
Gary Gate called for warding off, Eric, on that play. He was bringing in against 2, 3 defenders, warding off the call. Ball back to Loyola.
With 2 minutes remaining in this national championship affair.
There's Pat McCabe on the sideline, first team All-America, maybe the best defenseman in the country at this time. He's got some of his buddies out there right now playing. He gets a chance to rest. Good chance for Simmons to reward some of the players that have supported the program throughout the year and give them time.
Kronberger shoots off the double team and misses. You know, Syracuse beat Johns Hopkins last year at College Park, Maryland, 13-12 for the title. Defeated Cornell 13-8 in Syracuse to win the '88 crown. Their first national championship came in 1983 on this same field, a 17-16 win against Johns Hopkins.
And it was dramatic. They were way behind, 12-5, I believe, at one point in that game, and they came storming back for a dramatic win that really got their program to the upper echelon.
Early marker down as Jim Blanding handles. Nice feed out in front, but Tony Pavlik could knock it home. Now we'll get the call.
You got a man down.
Savoring the final moments on the sideline, Eric Holbrook, number 43. And of course, Loyola, no real losers today. Both these programs winners. Loyola taking it up another notch, and the best of the rest, as I've said, but they are an excellent program that will be around.
A minute 13 left until this thing goes into the record books. Syracuse has dominated. They lead it 21-9. 30 seconds of NCAA lacrosse for 1990. Syracuse may be the best ever team. Gary Gate, a huge reason why. Of course, his brother Paul very much a piece of the action. Gary trying the air gate maneuver, comes into the crease. Lee Felsmo, we have really been treated to once-in-a-lifetime type lacrosse here this afternoon.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. And we look at the sideline. This is a very special team. The best there ever was. Well, certainly one of the best there ever was. Roy Simmons with his team, and John Desko right there, who is really the other brick in that foundation of coaching for the Syracuse squad. Dumps in there on the right. I want to mention also 21-9. They're almost dead on their average. Average game for the great Syracuse squad at 21-9. That's what they do every week in and week out.
And we see it count on down. The Gate era ends at Syracuse with a 3rd straight national championship.
A little bit anticlimactic in that it wasn't a close game, but nobody expected it to be a close game. Here is the team that has really just absolutely dominated play in Division I lacrosse over the last 3 years. They lost one game, as you mentioned, last year. It was their first game out of the box in upstate New York. You don't get a chance to practice that early. They played Hopkins in the first game, lost a close game. From then on, nobody has beaten this squad, and the year before they were undefeated. Very special 3-year reign for Roy Simmons, and he's going to soak in this next week as much as he can.
A 12-goal margin of victory for the victorious Orangemen. Their 3rd national championship in a row comes on their 27th consecutive win. These have got to be very special moments for Roy Simmons Jr., his staff, and his players.
He's an emotional guy, and he knows this is a once-in-a-lifetime moment for him, for these guys. He just hates to see it end because not only of the excellence in the play, but these are all solid human beings that have really reacted to the way he runs his program, and he will hate to see these friends of his leave the program.
Some people live a lifetime for one day in the sun. For the Syracuse Orangemen, it's been 3 years in the sun. The national championship belongs to the 1990 Syracuse Orangemen. A 12-goal victory against Loyola. There's your final, 21-9.
brought to you by the Prudential. Come to the companies of the Prudential and build your future on the rock.
In the sport of college lacrosse, an era of supremacy continued today for Syracuse. They hoist their third straight national championship trophy with a 21-9 win over Loyola.
One of the most dramatic three-year reigns of any team in the history of the game. A team that will go down in the record books as well as the minds of all the lacrosse fans from coast to coast.
Final Four next year in Syracuse, New York. Here in 1990, it belongs to the Orangemen.